Rather, if it was signed after November 1st, 2023, it will not expire. It'll just stay good forever. One of the things that I like to do with this YouTube channel is advise you on any changes to USCIS policy, any changes in the law, any changes in the way that the government is applying the law. So one of the changes that recently took place is that USCIS issued new guidance on the way that their medical exams would be treated. The medical exam is a form that you must submit when you apply to become a permanent resident inside the United States. It's for applicants for adjustment of status. If you're applying for your green card through a consulate abroad, that's a different process. That's not adjustment of status. That's called consular processing. So the medical exam is referred to as Form I-693. And the policy guidance is in front of me. I'm going to read from it. USCIS announces new guidance on Form I-693 validity period. So basically, the validity period for these medical exams is now being extended. In consultation with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and based on advances in public health electronic notification, USCIS has determined that a Form I-693's evidentiary value should no longer be limited to a certain period if it is properly completed and was signed by a civil surgeon on or after November 1st, 2023. USCIS officers have discretion to request more evidence or a new or updated Form I-693 if they have any reason to believe that the applicant's medical condition has changed since the civil surgeon signed the Form I-693, or that Form I-693 submitted does not accurately reflect the applicant's medical condition and the applicant may be inadmissible on health-related grounds. What does that mean? What that means is when you submit your medical exam, if you submit it after November 1st, 2023, rather, if it was signed after November 1st, 2023, it will not expire. It'll just stay good forever, presumably, or at least for a reasonable amount of time. The USCIS officer does not have to request a new one from you. This is different from the old policy. The old policy said that the medical exam expires after 2 years. So let's say you file a green card application and you include your medical exam. After 2 years, if your case is still pending, you'll have to pay a new doctor for a new medical exam. Even though it was not your fault that your case is taking this long, it's just random luck with the USCIS processing times. But now, as long as your medical exam was signed by the doctor after November 1st, 2023, it should stay good indefinitely. It does not automatically expire. It retains its value. If an applicant's immigration medical examination was completed before November 1st, 2023, the prior policy still applies. That's a direct quote. So the prior policy since the pandemic has been that your medical exam stays good for 2 years. Interestingly, before the pandemic, it was only good for 1 year, which was a terrible situation for everyone who had a green card application pending during the pandemic because all of their cases got pushed well beyond 1 year and they all had to pay a couple $100s to get a new medical exam to meet the requirements for a green card. A question that I commonly receive that's on point with the medical exam is regarding which vaccines are required. And specifically, is the COVID vaccine still required for medical exams? The answer is yes, it is still required. And I anticipate that it will be required for the foreseeable future. So if you still haven't gotten the COVID vaccine and it's holding up your green card application, you might be waiting for a very long time or possibly forever. I don't know exactly how these policies are going to shape up in the future, but I don't see that requirement going away anytime soon. Another thing that I just want to touch upon with this is if you're going to apply for your green card and you know you're eligible, then the first thing you usually want to do is complete the medical exam because it can easily take 1 or more weeks. It could take up to 2 months to get the medical exam completed depending on what your preliminary test results show. For example, one of the requirements is to make sure you don't have tuberculosis. And the way they do that is with like a simple blood test, blood draw. But that blood draw, if it's inconclusive, Then there are follow-up procedures like an x-ray and possibly even antibiotics for certain other diseases of inadmissibility, and you might have to go through the full course of antibiotics or whatever the treatment is before the medical doctor can sign off on your medical exam. So if you're not sure how long it's going to take, I would get started with your medical exam ASAP, especially since it's not going to expire based on this policy. The final thing that I want to touch upon with the USCIS medical exam requirement is that when you go to a physician to complete your exam, they'll give you your results in a sealed envelope. But they are also supposed to give you a client copy, which is an unsealed copy for your records. Do not open the sealed envelope. We have to mail it sealed to USCIS for them to process your green card. If you open it, you might end up having to get a new one and pay your physician again for a new version. And no, insurance does not cover these medical exams most of the time, so you're going to be paying out of pocket. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. If you have any questions about this updated policy, put it in the comments below. I will answer all of your questions and comments for 1 week after I post a new video. If you're new to my channel, I focus entirely on family-based immigration, citizenship, and to some extent, immigration court proceedings if you're unfortunate enough to be dealing with that situation. If you're interested in these topics, subscribe to my channel. I'll post a new video each week, and I'll see you guys next week for another video.